değerli konuklarımız, sırada bir panelimiz var. ORAN Plans in Turkish 5G başlıklı paneli gerçekleştirmek üzere moderatörümüz Hizmet İhracatçıları Birliği Yönetim Kurulu üyesi Sayın İlhan Bağören olacak. Ve konuşmacılarımızı davet ediyorum. Güney Avrupa Ulusal Ağlar Başkanı Sayın Erhan Eraydın'ı, Turkcell Erişim Ağı Direktörü Sayın Mustafa Karakoç'u, A Mimarisi ve Tasarım Grup Müdürü Sayın Furkan Açık'ı ve tekrar ORAN ve TSC kurucu eş başkanı Sayın Chih-Lin'i şu an sahnede görüyorsunuz. Konuşmanıza iyi oturumlar diliyorum size.
Teşekkürler. Chih, thanks a lot. There were probably a few hours worth of listening there that we could, lots of good information. Thanks for sharing them and thanks for trying to optimize them. I will quickly move to listen from our experts about their experience so far with both 5G and ORAN. What they do so far, and then we'll later go to what they will do in the second question. But can you, Erhan Bey, maybe you can start your experience with 5G and ORAN.
Sure. I hope it's working. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a very nice presentation, Chih-Lin. It was very interesting to follow your presentation. I would like to more focus on the operational side of the Open RAN and how, from an operator perspective, we are going to, have challenges and how we are going to address these challenges. I would like to touch more on these topics. I also wish everybody and the visitors have a great 3 days in the event. Thank you very much for the invitation. So, Open RAN journey actually started in Vodafone in 2016 when we joined the Telekom Infra project. So, we basically not started from the specification sides, but we basically more focused initially more on the product side. And then we demonstrated, trials. We have done in Mobile World Congress in 2017, first call together with the Open RAN environment. Then in Turkey, we started in 2019 to do Open RAN trials in a special district where we have the Open RAN coverage actually. And we not only started with the 4G technology, we also wanted to have existing technologies be part of the Open RAN strategy. Because from an operator perspective, when you look at the base stations, because we still need 2G, at least 2G for a while, then you cannot deploy many base stations at the same time moving forward. So at least a part of these new old technologies we need to bring forward as well, a part of the Open RAN product environment. So, and then we added on top of that the 4G. So we are still running the trials. As within Vodafone, we have 5 ongoing trials in different markets with different products and with different combinations. Global level. So we have different trials in different markets, and we have also one commercial network already. So in UK, we have already announced that we will have 2,500 base stations with Open RAN in UK market. We started already deploying it. 4 sites are on air. Even the first 5G site is on air. So it is moving. Maybe not with all these, possibilities or that we are going to touch maybe in the future, but it is more moving. So, of course, the open environment, maybe it's new for radio, but it is already there for the core network, as Ms. Chih-Lin presented as well. So we are already experiencing the cloud environment, in virtualization, in different parts of the network. But in the radio, when it comes to the radio, it's all new for us. And disaggregation is also very, very critical. So we always actually forced from the beginning to have a disaggregation, fully disaggregation for the hardware and software. And we believe that the software capabilities will play a critical role in the future. So not only from vendor perspective or from product perspective, as well from operator perspective, that we need to have the right skills to have the software engineers inside the company to be able to touch these systems, have APIs, and to be able to optimize these systems for the future. So we believe that all the mobile masts or all the towers that we are going to have will be automated and software driven in the future. So this is our ambition, that everything will be automated and software driven for the future. And to be able to reach this, actually, we wanted to be a part of the OpenRAN world, starting from research, from standards, software, product area, and as well as on the policy side and performance side. We wanted to be present in different forums like ORAN Alliance, like TIP, like ONF, like OpenRAN Policy Coalition, NGMN, GSMA, etc. So we are trying to be a player in all these areas to be able to have the OpenRAN success for the future. And what it brings to us, of course, it is widening the vendor ecosystem and encourages the innovation, which is also very critical. And it will be also more cost-effective, probably more secure, not probably, but it should be secure and more energy efficient. I think one of the critical points that we are touching as an OpenRAN group is now more the massive MIMO and the energy efficiency to bring success into the products. So as we have signed as well an MOU between operators in 2021 together with Orange, Deutsche Telekom, team to support the OpenRAN ecosystem. So from the beginning, we are part of a OpenRAN journey, and we want to have the OpenRAN a big success as well in the future. And on top of that, we have as well R&D. We started R&D as well for the microchips in Malaga lab, and we also created a group of experts here in Turkey for the OpenRAN. They are focusing on the product and performance. So here we are actually improving the performance of the OpenRAN deployments from Turkey and helping other operators with inside Vodafone Global. So we have a good expertise as well in Turkey. So basically, these are what we have done. And maybe I can touch a few points as well what we are going to do in the OpenRAN environment. So we believe that until 2030, we will reach 30% of our mobile mast will be OpenRAN. So this is our commitment to the industry. 2030. 2030, we will have 30% of our radio network in OpenRAN. And this is our commitment, and we see that it is coming. So 23, 24 will be likely more deployments we will see. Probably in 25 it will be more, and we will have a reach of 30% within Vodafone. So as I mentioned, 4G, 5G already there. It is working, and we see that the product performance even today is equivalent to the single RAN performance that we see already with the legacy vendors. So it is a promising. We see that the TCO of the product even itself is also comparable with the single RAN vendors now. And in 3 years, we would expect that it would become even better, like 30% better than the normal single RAN TCO. And with which is also very critical because we need to, think about our costs as an operator, and this is very, very critical. And if the TCO is getting better with the, with these packages of the OpenRAN to work with the different parties, I think we will reach also an ambitious target. Other than that, so maybe I can touch also a few points about 5G. I think it's very interesting to have very, wide variety of companies here, and they are working on different verticals. And then 5G will enable these kind of verticals in the ecosystem. And it is very nice to see that a lot of different use cases are happening. And with the open environment and open architecture, we are going to have more special solutions inside our network, not only in core, now also focused in the radio. I think it's also important that we should take the moves for the 5G as well for the Turkey to make this ecosystem grow more, to make them, the networks ready to be able to have these use cases as well in the live networks. Thank you very much.
Maybe you can tell us, Mustafa Bey, about Turkcell's experience with 5G and Open RAN, and a little bit about the plans.
Okay, thank you very much, first of all. It is a very good honor for me to be here, also meet again, once again, after some years with Ms. Chih-Lin. And also thank you, Erhan and Furkan, together we are talking to the issue about the wireless communication in Turkey, how it's going to be, how was the different, perspectives about 4G and the 5G. In Turkey, we have a two challenge. One is the 5G challenge, because unfortunately we don't have a 5G. And another one is the, ORAN solution, how we are going to deploy these both of them together. For talking about the 5G, like all the other operators in Turkey, we have been working since 2017-18. We did some trials with different vendors, legacy vendors. We also experienced different verticals because 5G is totally different than other legacy technologies. We have to touch the verticals. We have to understand each other. All these are the know-how period we are growing up. And we did some trials not only with the verticals, we also did some trials with legacy vendors and the ORAN vendors together, because this is another situation for us. On the other hand, for the ORAN solution, we have to deploy both current active technology, which is 4G, 4.5G, and also in the 5G. And for both the technologies, the main challenges are easy, because the operators are used to live the comfort of the legacy vendors' solution support. But it is not so easy for the ORAN technology, because you are like playing a puzzle. You connect different vendors together to deploy one path. Advantages or disadvantages, pros and cons. It's totally respect. But this kind of new working style is not so easy to transform the operators by themselves, and not so easy to do everything from the first day. This morning we talked with Ms. Lishin, and it is a very good explanation about the hype cycle. Yes, first hype is almost completed. Now it is reversed and the start stabilized and suitable some another hype. There are some alliances they are working, and operators are doing some trials, but we have to be more aggressive. I think it is my opinion that we have to be more aggressive to deploy all the solutions, not only for the rural area, maybe some city urban, some dense urban, city urban areas, to experience the performance of the ORAN solution. We did till now some lab trials in Turkcell since 2018, and since last year we have one active site which is working with totally end-to-end ORAN solution. Oh. It is not so easy, because, as I said, like an analyst, like a researcher, an R&D person, we started to understand bits and bytes each differently. Not so easy, but we have to do it, because by having this advantage, we are going to use flexible solution. We are going to change all the software activities in one night, from A to B. It is very good. It is a dream, but it's going to be realized in the future. In Turkcell, we did very big team together from core to the RAN side to understand the behavior of the fully ORAN solution, fully virtualized solution. And we did some trials. We are improving our know-how, and hopefully in the next year, 2023-2024 period, we are going to extend our commercial size from 1 digit to 2 digit, 3 digit numbers. And this is not only the request from the operator side, it is also the readiness of the vendor side. Both of them, if both of them can support each other, I think this technology is going to be very mature in the future. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And Furkan Bey, maybe you can tell us about Türk Telekom's experience and plans.
For this panel. And then it will not be easy to put something on it after Chih-Lin's keynote speech. So I will try to do my best. I will start with 5G. 5G is not a technology built on the existing 3G or 4G technologies. Is more and more service-oriented technology than the existing ones. Instead of providing traditional services, voice data and SMS services, the agile delivery of various services will be possible with a disruptive technology such as 5G. So to provide these services in an agile and various ways, you need a strong, centrally controlled, flexible, and easily modifiable network. As a service provider, to have that kind of network with a cost-effective, cost-oriented, and the easy way, so you need to follow two important steps. One of them is using and integrating your network with open source technologies. The second one is having the right strong ecosystem with the right partners. So the stronger ecosystem you have, the more benefits you will get. That's why as Türk Telekom, we are working on enhancing our ecosystem, having a strong partnership in our ecosystem for 5G era. As Yusuf Kıraç Bey said in his speech, ecosystem is so important, and it's predicted that most of the 2/3 of the 5G relevant budgets, revenues will be for applications and devices. That's why we are starting to software-oriented technologies with local players. Last week we had an event at Architecture Çayırova campus. It was 5G at Endtech. It's focused on industry verticals for 5G, and then we were a stakeholder of that program. There were 13 companies, local companies, who has presented their own developed solutions with our 5G network in the Çayırova company. We believe that this kind of activities will improve our local companies and local players. So we will continue to add new kind of activities in this manner. On one hand, while we are doing this kind of 5G use cases, on the other hand, we are technically working on with global vendors and local vendors. In last year, we had finished our 5G phase 1 test in RAN and core domains, both local and global vendors. And we believe that this kind of activities, these tests, giving significant benefits to us and the companies that we work with during the tests. I just want to give you an example. For example, during the tests we had for 5G charging issues with a local company in our test lab, Innovation Center, we noticed that a need for 5G release for charging redundancy. And then we are now negotiating with 3GPP to add this need to the next releases of 5G. So it is really critical for testing this kind of technical details. So we aim to make our network ready for 5G for next year, and to involve local players and then let them to develop their products in line with our roadmaps. Let me jump in ORAN part. We have a lot to say about ORAN. As you know, targeted ORAN technology is a mix and match technology. I mean, we will bring together the most compliant providers that fits our needs. So we will take we will have a chance to take the third parties or the local players to involve them in the ORAN industry. So this is a ecosystem emphasis is really valid for 5G and ORAN also. You know, there are RAN software providers, RAN hardware providers, fronthaul switch providers, time synchronization providers, rig providers, SMO providers, cloud providers. The ecosystem has lots of stakeholders, and then we are started to working to have the right ecosystem regarding these stakeholders. What we did for ORAN in last year, let me summarize that. At the beginning of last year, we released an RFI, a detailed RFI, to the 13 companies that contain service providers, not service providers, system integrators, RAN software vendors, traditional RAN software vendors, open RAN vendors, the local partners, local vendors, then RIC and SMO providers. And then we ask almost 1,000 questions to that providers. Everyone's surprised in industry. Then we believe that we need to increase the awareness of ORAN. That's why we just started with RFI. Then we had an ORAN architecture workshops in the company with the technical related people. We reached more than 250 people related with ORAN. And then we told the architecture all the details to the technical guys. Then we started 2 different trials, ORAN trials, field and lab and field trials. One of them is launched with TIP collaboration. And then that trial, we were in the ORAN group in TIP organization, and we are working closely with TIP guys. That one was consisting of open transport and ORAN components in it. We are working on it. Now it's already setting and testing on it. And second one is funded by USTDA, United States Trade and Development Agency. That trial funded by USTDA. And then in that trial, we already integrated Juniper rig solution with a available admission control use case, except. Both trials are running now successfully, and our goal is include all this kind of trials to put local players in it as a next step. I just want to add 2 more things about ORAN and then our plans. You know, I always mention that this is an ecosystem thing, and then we have some tools in this ecosystem. One of them is the rig part. The Netsia, maybe you know, is a subsidiary company of Telekom in the United States, and then they are already contributor of ORAN white paper in it, and then they have lots of patents about the rig, and then we have commercial relationship with Juniper to productize it, and then it's named as Juniper rig right now. But we are working closely with Juniper guys in this area. The second topic is we are always talking about, let's say, okay, RAN software is important, okay, fronthaul is important, but there is something missing in the discussions, the synchronization part. You know, you will need for 5G and then ORAN the accurate, more and more accurate synchronization error rates, the time error rates. So we have, as Telekom, we have a patented, unique GNSS independent time transfer solution. So with this solution, you know, the requirement of 5G is 1.1 microseconds and then for ORAN it might be lower than that, but we can provide with our unique solution in 50 nanoseconds level. So this really easily meet the requirements of 5G and ORAN in this area, and then this result shows us it will fit requirements, it will meet the requirements of 6G also for synchronization parts. So with the help of our exported technologies in this era, we can provide significant benefits to the ORAN ecosystem. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. So what I can gather from your explanations is for our operators, ORAN question is not if but when. There is no question that a transition to ORAN will happen, right? Chih-Lin, did you have any answers or questions or comments to what you have heard? Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually, as I told İlhan, before I came on this trip, I did not have great knowledge of the status of the three major operators in Turkey. And really, it's, I don't want to say surprise, but it's really, I'm very happy to hear that not only they are very knowledgeable, but also are very experienced in various exploration. I'm not sure whether this was a direct continuation of the cluster program that İlhan had led since 5 years ago.
That was on the vendor side, but we worked together with these guys,
right.
So we learned quite a lot from them.
I think as MNOs, we have similar challenges, right? First, I think we are all welcoming this transformation because it will give us more control and more flexibility, but it will also bring more challenge and complexity. So exactly how, for different operators, this transformation will take place, maybe it will differ from operator to operators. I mean, we have all seen that for the greenfield operators such as Rakuten or Dish, they can just straightforward deploy their quote-unquote ORAN 5G networks. But for operators like us, I guess we call ourselves the brownfield. We have large scale legacy existing network there already. I think Vodafone mentioned even the need of 2G, right? Actually, China Mobile is the same place that we could not turn off our 2G, even though we have shut down our 3G already, but we can't turn off the 2G yet. And how do we have now 2G and 4G, which are all kind of deployed using the legacy approach with ORAN-driven the future network, will be very challenging. But it's a journey that we are all, I think, confident that and also committed that we have to take on this journey, right? The target was what, 30%? 30% by 2030. I think that is great. It's a commitment. When I was making analogy about the C-RAN, the ORAN, and the different era, I mentioned that our 4G was 0 C-RAN, but then by the time we deploy 5G, it's 70% C-RAN, right? So if you can increase that 30% a little more, would be even great. But I think one of the big questions, as we were discussing this morning before the session, was in this new ecosystem. On one hand, I think Turkey, just like many countries or different regions, including Europe actually, were also looking at the ORAN ecosystem as an opportunity to incubate local and domestic supply chain and ecosystem. I think one of Vodafone's effort in Europe about setting up this chips venture was part of it, right? Yeah. And I know that more than one country in Europe are looking to that opportunity, even though they did have Ericsson and Nokia in Europe already, but there are other aspects in this ICDT converged technology domain where new players are possible, right? And I think the flexibility that was mentioned, that is once we have the disaggregated, because we are not only disaggregating the hardware software by cloud virtualization technology, we're not only disaggregating the radio head with the open front hall type of interface, we are also not only disaggregating the control from the base station by having the near real-time RIC with the open interface of E2, much against some of the traditional vendors' wish or pleasure. We are disaggregating in many layers, many aspects. So that actually enables opportunity for any system, whether it's an MNO network or it's a private network, to take advantage and make use of any and all the latest, the newest software or hardware. You can just kind of replace it, right? Very dynamic. That's the agility we are looking for in the future. Right. But to have that, I think some of the operators will need the help from system integrators, SI, okay? And I do believe that ORAN ecosystem will have many new players, and this SI will be a key category of the players. I met a few SIs already outside the session here locally, and I think globally, SIs will be in strong demand, sure. Not only to support MNOs like us, but maybe to support some of the vertical private networks. I mean, there's a larger array of such needs as well. Yeah.
Okay, we are about running time, but I would like to ask our operator friends if you want to have
maybe
any
just
closing.
Maybe just one last thing. I think maybe two things. It's a great opportunity, I think, for Turkey, the Open RAN, because it can introduce new vendors to our ecosystem. So if we are talking about localization, I think Open RAN should be the key technology that we should invest in. So that's why I think this brings the opportunity, not only from the hardware, software side. So I think we have many different opportunities in the Open RAN ecosystem. And one last point, maybe, as you mentioned, the system integration. So from operator perspective, the challenge will be more work on the operator side, because at the moment we have a black box which is working, but at the end we need to have different integrations, different hardware components, different software, and the ability to work with them in an agile way with the CI/CD deployment. And we should have a very good integration procedure. So we will have many challenges to make this work, but we are ready to make this effort, I think. Thank you very much.
Just to add, Erhan, rather than the other countries, we have two more responsibilities. One against our country, Turkey. We have to deploy local product. Local product is easy with the ORAN solution, not easy with the legacy solution. That's why we have to support not only for the operators, also the local product producers, also the government, also all the initiatives should support this solution. Second responsibility is for the other, our companies. We need to improve the efficiency by using orchestration, by using, RIC solution. This is also capable with the ORAN. That's why step by step, by deploying this solution, will help not only for the operator, Turkcell, Vodafone, Telekom, also will help our country. Thank you.
I agree with my colleagues about localization and then usage of ORAN for localization, local players, but I just want to add something about ORAN technology. There are some unclear points I just want to touch some unclear topics in ORAN. One of them is technology maturity, and then other one is cost effectiveness. We will see the promising comments about the prices for the next years. Other one is interoperability, and then TIP and ORAN Alliance functions is important in interoperability. Badging, we believe badging. And then to make it disciplined and robust for rollout, we need some authority for badging for interoperability, and then ORAN and TIP might be the ones to make it happen. Other one is chipset alternatives. You know, there are lots of new chipset players in the area. So interoperability in chipsets and stacks is also important. I mean, there are lots of RAN software vendors, but that software should be interoperable with the different chipsets also. Not just mix and matching with the devices of that software. It should be on the chipset level and stack level. As my colleague said, skill set transformation is important. So it will take time. You know, we know the same story from core domain. Disaggregation in core domain started in there, and then it took some time to do that, but we did it. Then we did it in fixed broadband domain, for example. We disaggregate OLT and ONT devices, and we are managing our devices with a white box OLT, ONTs with a centralized software, locally written software, developed software. And as a next step, how to operate. RAN operation is not easy. I mean, in Turkey, most of the RAN operations are turnkey basis. We just outsource our operation, RAN operation, and then we get it as turnkey. But in RAN part, it will be a big question mark. Last sentence, you know, all these issues are changing day by day with the strength of RAN ecosystem and RAN technology maturity. Last year, as Telekom, we were thinking, our view was different, but this year we deep into RAN, and then we are thinking different. But maybe next year, after with the changing strength of RAN ecosystem, we will say more convenient words for RAN. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. First, I want to use this opportunity to call for. I mean, I had a pleasure of a brief meeting with the Vice Minister this morning, and so I know he may not be here, but maybe someone can relay the message like İlhan, that I would like to call for the ministry's support to use this opportunity to help the local incubate local ecosystem, because really I think this is, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but as far as our industry is concerned, this is really a transforming era phase. And this is the opportunity for all the players in all regions to have an equal opportunity to become important player. And like the gentleman there has said that it may not be easy for every country to have a vendor like Ericsson, Nokia, or Huawei, or so on, but you definitely can have a reasonable large number of solution provider, technology provider for a particular chip, for particular software, for a particular subset of solution, because the future end-to-end system can be put together dynamically, very agilely with this kind of solution. So as you come up with the newer version, newer technology, it could be brought into the end-to-end system. So the opportunity is there, and I hope Turkey make good use of this opportunity, become a major player in the future ICT convergent industry. And then also for the three operators here, once again, on behalf of ORAN Alliance, I would love to see them joining the alliance and become active players there. Of course, Vodafone is already there, a very important leader and contributor. But Vodafone here, if you can, I heard you also have an ORAN technology team locally, so it would be nice to see them participating in some of work. And for all the operators, any wishes, any criticisms, any comments, advice, I think the alliance can benefit from it. So we welcome all of it at all time. And one more time, thanks, İlhan, for this great opportunity to meet you all. Yeah. Thank
well,
you.
Thanks, Chih-Lin, and thanks, Erhan Bey, Mustafa Bey, and Furkan Bey for being part of this. Thanks.